we all have struggles. We all have things that we've gone through. But what are we going to do with that? We can turn pain into power is something else. Let me tell you.
That's
if you
real.
Turn pain into power, you got something special.
Greetings, everyone, and welcome to When the Moment Chooses You. I am your host, Coach Charlene, and I'm extremely excited today to have Latasha Griffin here, a trailblazer, and you will see why I say that in just a minute. So welcome to the show, Latasha.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Hi, everyone.
Yeah, so excited. But I wanted to actually read her bio. I had an opportunity to share with when she launched her business. So let me just read a little bit about her first, and then we're going to kind of jump into the conversation. So Latasha is a board certified family nurse practitioner and aesthetic injector of At Your Best Wellness and Aesthetics Nursing Incorporated, located here in Elk Grove, California. She earned her bachelor's degree from the University of Missouri, St. Louis. She also holds a master's degree in family medicine. Having amassed over 15 years of experience, including critical care, family medicine, obstetrics, and mental health services, Latasha has the knowledge to provide exceptional professional care to meet your health and wellness needs from the inside out. Her numerous awards and recognition throughout her career testify to her dedication to excellence in her field. As a healthcare professional, wife, mother, entrepreneur, Latasha recognizes the importance of providing a safe and welcoming patient experience. When Latasha decided to open her own practice, her top priority was health and well-being of her clients. As a nurse practitioner who has dedicated her career to health industry, she knew that she wanted to create a space where people could feel comfortable talking about everything from their family planning needs to their mental health concerns. She also wanted to create a practice that would allow her to focus on the needs of each individual patient and not just fit them into a traditional gender role or medical model. Latasha is passionate about making her clients look good and feel even better. She continues to expand her knowledge and education in the medical and aesthetics field to stay updated with the latest and most effective treatments for her patients. And I welcome Latasha to the show. So, okay, let's
unpack.
I know
my bio was that long.
Yes, it was a little long, but that's okay. It was all the greatness that you are doing. So tell us really about yourself, other than what I talked about right here. Tell us something
you guys know,
about
my
yourself.
name is Latasha. I'm a board certified family nurse practitioner. But beyond that, I am originally from St. Louis, Missouri. I have 2 children. I have a husband. I come from a 2-parent household. I have a sister and I have nephews and a ton of family and friends that support me and love me. And I love them dearly as well. I started my nursing career. I graduated from University of Missouri, St. Louis in 2006. I've always worked in the healthcare industry. I've always been a server naturally at heart. I knew I was going to be a nurse very early on in high school. I started working as a patient care support services. Once I graduated from high school, I actually started working in housekeeping. So I started literally from the bottom and up. Yeah. And I just worked my way up. Wow. I was a housekeeper, and then I went to patient care PCT, patient care transportation, and then patient care services. And then I was a UA at one point, and then I graduated with my RN degree. I became a registered nurse. I worked in trauma ICU. I've worked in labor and delivery for the past 15 years now. I've been in the health industry for about 20 plus years, and I've been an NP for about 3 years now.
Wow, what an amazing, powerful, just meeting you, you wouldn't know all of the greatness that you have. So this is what I love about When the Moment Chooses You, because really there's more to us than meet the eye. So that's really what I want people to see, that you came from humble beginnings and now look what's happening. So tell us what happened recently. I want you to tell them about your business and what happened.
So I just opened, I've been open. So I launched my business in January during a pandemic. I know, right? Crazy. But I saw a need in the community, especially in our community, where we're often overlooked by certain things in the med spa industry. We don't really see ourselves when we go into certain places. And it's not that we don't want to do those services. They're just not catered towards us. You want to feel welcome when you go into a business, right? When you walk into a place, you when you see people that look like you on the wall, people that look like you behind the desk, or that's, taking the vitals, or, coming into the room to get you, you feel a little more at ease. You feel like, okay,
Mhm.
I like this
Yes.
place. They look like me, they talk like me, they act like me, they're concerned about me. We all need that representation. I don't care how old you get. We all want to feel welcome and feel heard and cared for. And so when I would go into some certain these places, I didn't see that. I didn't get that feeling. I was nervous. Do they know what I like? If I tell them what I'm looking for, am I going to come off being aggressive? We have to think about everything and every action that we take, as women of color, and as people of color, period. And so I just wanted to take that extra thought out of it, an extra worry. When you go into certain places, you want to be welcome. And no matter what it is, the doctor's office, dentist's office, wherever you go, you're there for a service. You want to make sure you're getting the right service, and then you're being treated and respected with your time and value. And so when I came up with when I launched my program, my aesthetics place, it was really started off as wellness. The aesthetics was really an add-on, and it was an add-on based on what my current clients told me that they wanted. They want the Botox, they want the fillers, they want the facials and the weight loss medications and the vitamins and all of that too. So if there's a demand, I'm going to provide it. And so it really started off with just an IV hydration concierge business, and it has just grown. And it's grown because of the support of the community and for people who really, truly want those services.
Wow, that's amazing. So how long, I mean, when did you actually get the idea? Like, how did you transition into, because starting a business is not the easiest thing
It's
to
not.
do.
And
So,
I knew nothing. I literally, oh my gosh, like, how you just be like, you're gonna do something and you just have this idea, and I did sit on it for a while. This is definitely nothing that happened overnight. It was a vision already, but life gets in the way. I have children, they're in sports, I'm working full time. I just, I graduated from NP school. So I'm paying my dues. I'm working for the underserved population. So I just didn't know when it was going to happen. But I always wanted to really kind of own my own business. I wanted to provide concierge type of services, and not that cookie cutter, practice. I wanted to be very individualized. I wanted to be very unique, meaning that, it's not something you can find every day, right? So I
yes,
didn't know nothing about owning a business. I know how to do a service, right? I'm a service, a natural giver at heart. But running a business is a whole nother ball game, right? You don't really get prepared for it. There's really nothing. You just gotta do it. And I really did just jump foot first in. I did the basics, right? You gotta have an EIN, you gotta get a business license, you gotta get insurance, all that stuff. But knowing how to run your front and back office is something that you just learn as you go. Networking is going to be key. Marketing, like, honestly, the most part of your budget for your business should go to marketing. If nobody know who you are, they're not going to come to you because they don't know where you at.
right.
You got to be visible. So you have to be able to get in these rooms and get to know people, talk to people. I show up in every capacity that I can, and I'm networking now. I'm going to places, and I'm in rooms I never thought I would step foot in. And my name's in rooms I
Right.
probably ain't even been in yet. Okay.
Right.
So you gotta step out on faith. There's no right or wrong way. There's a book way, you do this and do that. But even then, you got to be able to apply what you know and what you've learned. And it really is a trial and error. You're never going to be ready. And, in a lot of my months of waiting and waiting, because I was waiting to get ready, I'm waiting for the perfect time. I'm waiting for the building. When you start a business, you want it to be perfect, right? In the beginning. There's no such thing. You perfect it along the way. You just got to get started. And I learned that. My first 6 months was wasted in a sense because I was waiting for the right opportunity. You know, but you know what? I ended
Yes.
up starting concierge. I ended up like, you know what? I don't have a place to open. I'm gonna come to them for now. I'm gonna be concierge, give you guys a VIP treatment and start. And I did it that way. I built my clientele up. I wanted to make sure, first of all, the service that I was gonna provide it was something that they wanted, right?
Right,
You don't want
right,
to spend all this
right.
money invest in something nobody comes. So you want to make sure you build rapport. You get in the community. I do a lot of nonprofit things. I do wellness screenings. I do blood pressure. So I'm out there. I partner with the Judah Project. Judah Project is located in Sacramento. They're a nonprofit organization. They do blood pressure screenings. I did a presentation on fentanyl when fentanyl was hitting Sacramento pretty hard. I did a free presentation on fentanyl. What are the side effects of it? What happens if somebody overdoses? Where you can go and get resources for people who have addiction. And I do that. I
Wow.
do those things to give back to the community because we need those.
That is
Yeah.
wonderful. Yeah. So what drives you, Latasha? I hear a lot of passion. What is it that drive you? What was it that made you kind of push? I hear such passion in your voice.
I feel like for me, I feel like everything I do, I always do. I'm not gonna do anything I don't really care about. You'll never see my name or me promoting anything that's not dear to me because I'm a very passionate person just naturally. So anything I do, I'm gonna always give 1,000%. Like I am a hustler true at heart. It's in me, it's not on me. It's really truly in me.
Yes.
And you just gotta have that, I don't really know what keeps me going because if you ask all my people that's around me, they be like, Tasha, when do you sleep? Because I don't. Like, I really don't. I cat nap. I call them cat naps. Give me a good solid hour. I can go another 8 hours, right? So I really feel like it's really just in me. It's just in me. I really don't know where I get this drive and the motivation to do more and want more. And some it can be a curse sometimes too, let me tell you. And it's really hard to find that balance of like, and I've had to learn that the hard way. I went through some depression, and I remember, I had a little moment with you, a little panic attack and things like that. You got to find that balance because what happens is when you're constantly going and going and going, you don't really take time to really do a self-care, right? And as a medical professional, we always caring for others, but who does
Right.
not get the care oftentimes are the people that are doing the caring. We really put so much on
Absolutely.
ourselves, and we care about everybody else's well-being. Make sure you drink your water. Make sure you get enough sleep. Make sure you're taking time for yourself. We don't even do it. We don't even follow. We don't even follow
Exactly.
our own advice half of the time. But that's because we care so much. And so what I've
Yeah.
learned is that sometimes you have to be able to like know when you need help, know when to ask for help, and know when to just pause and take a moment. And I feel like most of the time I'm on to the next thing, the next thing, and the next thing. And we pray for a lot of things, right? And we pray for, God, give me this and I'll be good with this. But then when you get that, you don't sit in it long enough. You're on to the next thing because you accomplished that. And I noticed that I was doing that. That's kind of a pattern for me. I feel like I always have to be busy. But then I complain about being
Mm.
busy. I'm busy. I'm so busy. I don't have time for this. I don't have time for this. But then when I'm not busy, I feel like I'm not productive. And I know it's something I'm working on.
Hmm.
And I don't have to always feel busy or be rushed to feel like I'm accomplished things. Sometimes it's okay to live in that moment, right? And sit in that moment for a little
Exactly.
bit and enjoy where you came from because a year ago, people were praying for where they're at now. Or when I look back, last year when I was just starting my business, I didn't know anything. And I never thought I'll be in this big building right now. I never thought I'll be having that grand opening that was in the capacity and the niceness that it was, but I did. But if you would have
Yes.
told me that last year, I'd be like, I got, that's not going to happen. That's too soon. It takes time, right? But you just got to really just
Yeah.
believe in yourself and just I always tell people bet on yourself. You're gonna bet on anybody, always bet on yourself. And that's what I did. I just betted on
Well,
myself. So my passion just come from me just believing in myself and knowing that I can truly do anything that I want to do if I really truly believe in it.
well, and that's powerful because if you can believe in your own significance, you don't need anybody else patting you on the back, and you are going to be moving ahead fast, just like you are. And I think what you said, which what I heard is your passion drives you because when you're doing something that you don't care about, it's going to
Exactly.
drain you.
It will.
Right. But this gives you energy. You're like, okay, what's next? What's that?
Exactly.
What am
Like,
I going to do
I can
next?
literally like a night shift and then people like, are you going home and go to bed? No, I'm going to my office. But it's different because it's mine. I'm not I'm tired,
Yes.
but I'm not too tired that I can't keep going on. And I feel like when it's something that you really truly care about, you I don't know where the energy comes from. It finds you and you push through it, and it works. It just works.
Yeah. And when your body says,
Sit
Latasha,
down.
you better
Oh,
chill.
nobody,
You gonna
and if
chill.
not, it'll sit you down. Because I've been sat down. I've been sat down
Exactly.
before, and I know what being set down feels like. And it's a miserable feeling because then you feel like, oh my God, I got so much I have to do. Even when I'm sitting down, I'm not truly sitting down because my brain is always moving. It's always turning.
Exactly.
Like, I
Exactly.
got to do this, I got to do that. And so I would tell people, you know, you got to find that balance between, work and life balance, spending time with your family, but also still moving towards your goals, right? Otherwise, you get burnt out and you're
Absolutely.
just like a hamster on a wheel. You got to really truly find that balance. And I feel like I'm getting there. Is there things that I can probably do, make more time for and like turn my brain off a little bit more on? Absolutely. But I'm getting there. I'm much better.
Yeah, well, I mean, her grand opening was amazing. I'm gonna have some snapshots of those when we air your episode. But have you experienced any barriers?
Oh man, when I say early on in when I first started this, California is one of the hardest restrictive states to open a business. First of all, let me just say that they do not make it easy. They want your blood, they want your everything, right? And California is a money state, right? So everything, somebody got to get paid for you to be able to be in this business. And so I remember early on when I started the IV hydration business, they stopped the pharmacies that were not in California. They put a halt on them. They cannot ship any vitamins here. That's I have an IV hydration business. If I don't have my vitamins, I have no business. That was a month into me starting. I had to figure out real
Oh,
fast,
wow.
how do I get these vitamins here? California has put a hold on them because they wanted them to go through some type of regulatory. They did some changes they did, and the pharmacies had to meet their standards in order for them to resume shipping. Now, mind you, they've been shipping to
Mm.
California for a long time. It was a new year rule. They had a certain deadline to get their stuff in order with to meet the new regulations. So yeah, very early on my business, what would have basically killed most businesses, I just had to think of another way. Got to think outside the box, right? And so I started adding on
Yes,
different
yes.
services. Okay, my IVJ is on hold right now. It's on pause. Let me figure out what I can do. Let me work at what I got and then figure out what I can do. So, I had to get creative and stuff. But yeah, I hit obstacles very early on. I had to find a medical director, right? I had to, build a website. I don't know anything about marketing, networking, Google, all SEO optimizations. This is all foreign language to me. So
Yeah.
I hit barriers very early on. But the thing about barriers is it's either going to make you or break you, right? You're either going to look
Yes.
at it as an obstacle that you're going to go across, or you're going to look at it in a negative way where it's just like you can't move past the obstacle. But if you truly have a passion and purpose in things, you're going to move past it. I could have let it be like, well, maybe that's a sign, it's not for me. I'm gonna move on and go to something else, right? Because remember, I have a six-figure paying job. This business is really truly built on passion for me, truly wanting to help someone. It was never about the money for me.
Yes.
It's really built on me wanting to bring in these services that our community so needs and they love and enjoy receiving. So it wasn't about the money for me. So for me, it was like I could have walked away from it. I hadn't invested much in it at that time. I could have totally walked away from it. But again, I knew this was my purpose, and no matter what, I was going to see it through. It was just an obstacle, and I'm just glad I overcame that one.
Yes, amen to that. I was listening to what you said, and we used to teach this youth leadership curriculum, and it says, "As a man or woman moves, he draws the desires of his heart to him." So, and you like totally demonstrated that you kept moving, and
Yeah,
resources, people, money, all of this stuff started drawing to you versus you saying, "Man, that wasn't for me. I'm going to stop." Then all of the resources
exactly.
stopped, and yeah, so that's really powerful. So, what would you say to those people that kind of are stuck, but they have a business or they have a dream that they want to do, but they're just like stuck?
Yes. I always tell people, like, if you feel like you're giving up on your goals, write them down. Sometimes putting them out on paper, taking them from your brain and making those affirmations and writing them out on paper. Write them down, break them down. Like, when you look at things, like when I look at where I'm at right now, and where I started from, if I was looking at the end result, I would be very overwhelmed. It's very easy to get overwhelmed when you look at things as a whole. But when you start breaking them down step by step, and I'm talking about break them down by step. Do this. I need to order this. I need to, and I had it like that on my phone. I literally would be like, okay, apply for business license. Done. And I felt better when I was checking them off because it let me know I'm moving in the right
Yes.
direction. But if you have all these thoughts and all these goals and all this long list to do, and you don't have a timeline of when you want to get them accomplished, nothing really never gets done. Really have to write
Yes.
them down and break them down. I used to do it in 3 steps, right? What do I need to do right now? What can I delegate? Because, a lot of times we try to do everything on our own. But there's some tasks you can delegate to friends and family or your husbands or your children, right? And that's when I noticed that, you don't have to do everything by yourself. Ask for help. And I do notice in business, in order for you to grow and scale your business, you're going to need a team. You can't do it by yourself. So I'm that, okay, it's time for me to
Yes.
grow phase. I just hired my first employee. I didn't know. I'm like, I gotta know. I gotta get help. You know, I may not can pay
Yes.
a lot right now, but I gotta get some kind of help in here. Otherwise, I'm going to be doing everything. I'm going to get burnt out. I'm never really going to continue to grow. And if you got it, you got to grow. You got to scale your business. So things you want to do, write it down. Put your priority list. What can I do in the next 2 days, 3 days, 5 days, 30 days, right? Break it down like that. What can you delegate? There's some things you probably could delegate to a friend or family. Can you look up this? Can you research this for me? Ask for help. The third thing could do, what could wait? What is not really pressing me right now? What could wait a month or 2 weeks or put on a back burner? And if you start breaking those down by steps, you can start getting some things accomplished. Because again, if you're looking at that big old piece of paper of all the things you have to do, you're going to get overwhelmed. I felt overwhelmed very early on in my business. And I remember having to just take a pause and like, okay, this is not helping me. Like me looking at this list every day and not checking nothing off or working on this,
Yeah.
working like starting things and not finishing them. That's what we do a lot. We'll start something, but then we'll get distracted and move on to this. And then we'll get distracted, never finish
Yes.
that and move on to this. Don't do that. Make your list. Don't move on to the next thing until you finish what you started. And once I started doing that, it just started flowing. It just started flowing. And this is where I'm at right now.
That is awesome. Well, tell us a little bit more about your services because somebody, I'm sure, wants to experience what you have. So
So I tell
talk to
people
us
when you
about your
come into
services.
me, you're gonna get the AYB experience. It's not like anything it's different. It's not your typical wellness practice. It's not your typical med spa. When you come in, you're just gonna feel at home. I always tell people, I want you to feel your best, and at your best can be whatever that looks like for you in that moment. My at your best last week may not be what I'm feeling at my best this week, right? It changes, right, with the seasons. We're coming up on the
Right.
holidays. And there's a lot of seasonal depression that happens around these holidays, right? And so what I tell people is I just want you to be your best. So when you come in here, whatever worries you got going on, whatever stresses that are in your life, I want you to let those go. Leave them at the door. Because when you're in this space, I want you to really just get in tune with yourself. And that way I can know what I can listen to what you're telling me. And I listen to my clients a lot too. They tell me things without telling me things, right? And I take the time to really get to know them. And so I'm going to know about you. I'm going to know about your family. If you're going out of town or you're celebrating anything soon. I really love to get to know my clients. And I did that even when I was working at the underserved population. And a lot of my feedback was that, Latasha really takes the time to really get to know us. She sits down, she listens to my concerns. And I remember they used to bring in a long list of, I need this fixed today, right? Because everybody needs something
Mm-hmm.
done, right? And I tell them, you've been dealing with this, these issues for like, a long time, which means I'm not going to get them all accomplished today. But what I want you to do is give me your 3 most pressing things that you want me to address today. Let's start them. I even do it with my clients. Because they come in, oh, I got this. This been hurting me for these many years. I got back pain. I got this. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna work on them. But tell me your 3 top things that you need to be addressed before you leave out of here today. And I used to break it down just like that. Because a lot of times when you give somebody such a long list of things they're concerned about, it's a lot, right? It's a lot for me. The problem is I'm not going to be able to address all those concerns in your visit. When you go over all those concerns, we really never really get nothing done. But if you break it down, even with your healthcare, this is what's bothering me. This is very important to me. I want to address this. Okay, so then my focus for your appointment that day would be just this. And then your follow-up appointment will knock this off. And then you can see me 3-4 times and we can do this list now. Now I'm getting all those things that you felt like needed to be done today, which is not reality. It's not realistic. But now you're starting to see that we're checking off these things that you've been dealing with for these years, and now we're starting to get accomplished. And I used to apply that to my patients when I did primary care over at WellSpace. I applied that every time. They'll come in with a long laundry list of things that they had concerns about. Give me your top 2. Give me your top 3. And depending on what those top 3 was, it may be a top 1.
Exactly. I was going to say.
They used to come in like, they fix everything. I'm like, wait a minute. Now, how long you been had this? 10 years? Okay, give me a few months then. Let me help you. Help me help
That's
you.
Awesome.
Right?
Yes, please. By knowing what you really need. I like that. The top 3. You actually make them say what the top 3, the most priority for them.
And so then they'll look at their long list, and then they'll be able to break it down. Like, you know what, this is really, this has been going on, or I've been having these symptoms. And so based on what they tell me, I pretty much guide them to what I feel like most important. Like, we really should address this. Yeah. From what you're telling me, this sounds like this has been bothering you the most. Don't you feel like this would be something we should address today? And they're like, yeah, you're right. Let's get this done. And that's really the part of collaborating with your patients. And we're a team, right? I'm a provider, but I don't have all the answers. You know your body more than anyone. So you tell me what's going on, and we're going to come up with a treatment plan that works for you. Collaboratory. Like, I'm going to ask you, how do you feel about this? How do you feel about trying this medication out? This is what it's supposed to do. This is what the research shows. What are your thoughts on it? What would you like to do? Is there anything else you've read? Is there anything else you've tried? Or do people coming all the time, oh, well, my sister, they was on this, or my brother, they did this. Talk to me. Let me know what you know. And then we can figure out what's going to work for you. And so, for my services here in the office, I do a la carte services, right? So I do IV hydration. I do vitamin therapy, vitamin boosters. I do MP consultations. If you have some labs you want to go over, you didn't really understand your labs, or if you do for some labs and you want to go just get a regular basic annual exam. I'm a cash-based practice, so you really don't have to have insurance. You can pay cash, cherry financing, payment plans, whatever. I take everything. And so it's really just a service for people who just really want to get in and see a provider. They don't really want to go to their normal provider for whatever reasons, or maybe they don't have a regular provider and they just want to establish care with someone who cares about them, that can follow up with them. And I am available for those services too. On the aesthetic side, I do medical weight loss, I do Botox, I do fillers, I do facial treatments, things like that, teeth whitening, all things beauty, skincare line, all of that.
Oh, wow. That is the bomb. No, I'm so proud of you. So what would you say? I like to ask the guests, like, their top 3 things of just any types of wisdom that you can pour out to the listening audience for your journey and where you are now and where you're headed. Anything you can encourage them with.
For me, it's really just put yourself first. Like, show up. I tell people, try to show up as the very best version of yourself every day. And if you try to show up as that, whatever that version of your best looks like to you, show up as her, show up as him every day, and things will just start falling into place. You have to really think who you are and who you want to be and really show up as that person. You may not be there yet, But there's nothing wrong with showing up as
Yes.
that person, because then you're gonna naturally just follow into that role that whatever you're trying to accomplish, whatever you're facing in life, just really try to show up and face those adversities. If you need help, seek help, right? There's nothing wrong with asking for help. We're dealing with so much in this world right now. Everybody should have a therapist. Everybody should have someone they can talk to or call when things get hot, rough, and you just need someone to talk to. Even if it's just like a shoulder to listen to.
Yes.
Sometimes people just need somebody to listen. Like, don't say nothing, just listen. And getting it all out. So whatever people are going through or whatever they're striving to, you can do it. You just got to really just come up with a plan. If you don't have a plan, it's really hard for you to execute anything without having a plan. So make a plan. If you say you want to do this within 5 years, what steps are you going to take to achieve those goals? You got to do something. Faith without work is dead. We done with that. God only can do so much now. We can't call on the Lord and be like, oh, it's in God's hand. Yeah, it is in His hands. But He needs you to move too, sis. He needs you to move too, brother. We gotta move too, right? We have to move in purpose. And I tell people, everything we do should have a purpose, right? And I'm talking to break it down as eating with a purpose. Even with my medical weight loss program is one of my top sellers, right? And it's beyond the whole, losing the weight, because it's so much more involved. I change lives. I do transformations. I'm talking about mentally, spiritually, and physically as well. But it's so much beyond the physical part. People, their blood pressure has been normal. Their A1Cs are normal now. The cholesterol levels are back in the normal range. So, I dive so much into the mindset therapy. A lot of the stuff that we struggle with is really just shifting your mindset. You have to shift your mindset. You can't stay in a broken place. And I'm going to share a very personal story of where I was broken and how I built this business that I'm sitting in now in a broken place. And I call it built while broken. And turning your pain into purpose. We all have struggles. We all have things that we've gone through. But what are we going to do with that? We can turn pain into power is something else. Let me tell you.
That's real.
Turn pain into power, you got something special. Because you already been broken. But what are we going to do now? What are we going to do to get out of that broken phase? So I remember early on into my career, you asked about another obstacle. When I first started this journey, naturally for me, I'm a natural educator at heart. I want to do things by the books, right? And so I knew I wanted on my own practice at one point, but I felt like, let me do the order of chain of steps, right? Let me go work in a medical spa practice. I've already been a nurse practitioner. I've done that. I've done the bedside. I've done, the family practice, but I hadn't been in the med spa industry, right? So let me go get my foot wet. Let me go work for a company and, learn all I can learn and, the order of steps, right? I ended up getting hired at a very prominent, well-known aesthetics practice out here in Sacramento. I went through a gruesome interview process. They hired me. They told me I was a great candidate and I beat out all 1,000 applicants, right? So, your girl is feeling good about it, right?
Yeah.
And also the fact that I was the only person of color in the industry. Like when you go to these places, you don't see a lot of people of color giving the service or even getting the services, right? And so for me, it was very important for me. So I thought that I needed to be in that type of industry in order to grow. And we have these things where you feel like you need to do in order of steps because we feel like this is the right passage. But sometimes that's really not the way God wanted you to go. And sometimes we don't see that. So I ended up taking a job. I got hired and I love working there. I loved it. I felt at home. I was building rapport with my clients. They loved me. They come in and request me by name. And then I was suddenly let go. And it took me by surprise. And it took me to a really dark place. And it happened like in February. And again, I just opened up my IV hydration business. I'm very new, small time, seeing one client a day, right? I'm not busy at all. I'm just getting started. And so when you take a blow so suddenly like that in your career, you start second guessing your ability, right? I'm like, oh, well, maybe I'm not meant for this. Maybe I'm not cut out for this. Maybe this is a sign for me to, go back to the bedside, right? Maybe I'm not meant to be a boss or, or own a business or run a med spa, right? But that's just the devil talking. That's just that self-doubt creeping in. And what I didn't know what God was preparing me for. And in that moment, I felt like I needed to be there. But if I fast forward to where I'm at now, I would have never thought. In that moment, when I got in that car and cried and called my mom and let her know what happened, then she called my pastor and we on the phone, we praying. And my pastor was like, I know you don't see this right now. And I know no matter what I tell you right now, you ain't going to hear it. But I promise you, there is a purpose for this. And I'm like, why? Why would God allow me to go through that interview process? Why would God, we always ask why. And you don't understand it why. But we be mad. We be like, well, why we, and the crazy thing was they called me. They reached out to me. I wasn't looking for them. I'm doing my own thing. And so I'm really perplexed. Like, God, you got to talk to me. Like, I talk to God like I talk to one of my friends. And so I'd be like, what's up? Like, why you doing me like that? What I do? Like, I went there. I'm struggling. I'm doing 2 jobs now. I'm working there. I'm driving to Turlock. I'm driving to Modesto, going all the way out to El Dorado Hills. Like, I'm making it work because I felt like I needed to be in that space in order to learn. And they let me go because they felt like it was a conflict of interest. And let me tell you why. So I was very upfront and honest about my IV hydration business. They had my website. They had my Instagram channel. I don't know what happened. I can't speak. All I know is they said it was a conflict of interest, right? Now, at that time, I wasn't doing any services that they were doing. I only did IV hydration. They did not do IV hydration. I was very upfront with them about that during the interview process. Hey, I'm a nurse practitioner. They know that obviously they're hiring me as a nurse practitioner. But I just thought in my own concierge IV hydration business, right? And I just wanted to make sure there's no conflict of interest, nothing. Oh, no, it's fine. Oh, that's so dope. We may do a party. They were okay with it. So I thought.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I don't know what happened. I don't know if some of the girls in there felt whatever they felt, threatened, or what the situation was. But the clients loved me. I was able to report easily. I caught on very fast. So I'm like, I'm loving it. I'm shining. I'm feeling really good about it. And so to be let go like that, it would make anybody give up and quit.
Yes.
And for a moment, I did go into hiding. February was a real bad month for me. I went into a severe state of depression. I was like, you know what? I'm not meant for this. I'm not going to do this. Anytime you get rejected, it takes a big blow to your self-esteem, right?
Yes.
And I say all of that is I ended up turning that pain into purpose. And this made me go harder. It just made me be like, you know what? I don't need them. I'm going to open up my own wellness practice. I'm going to open up my own med spa. I'm going to do it for the right reasons, and I'm going to do it for the right community. And so I think I wanted to work for them so bad, or I felt like I needed to be in that environment in order for me to grow. And obviously I didn't need that to do what I'm doing because I'm doing what I'm doing. I'm doing it very well. The community has been very supportive to me. I have people referring me, people on Google searching me and coming to me because of me. And you don't really know what God has for you. And so when I thought that door closed and I thought that was the end of it, I didn't know God had another door that was being opened for me, that he was preparing for me. But sometimes we have to just stop and listen. We may not understand it, but we kind of just got to really still have that faith. And that's, I tell people all the time, I really built all of this when I was in a dark space. And I, built while broken.
That's a book all by itself, Latasha. Built while broken. But you know what? It also reminds me of what my coach told us. He said, you know what? And it sounds like that's what you did. You're trying to swim in the pool when I'm trying to get you into the ocean.
Yep.
And allow that ocean to pour back into the pool, because the impact that you're going to have now is so much greater than you would have had then. So that's powerful.
Yeah. And maybe they was right. Maybe it would have been a conflict of interest. I mean, at that moment it wasn't, but maybe they were right. I have no hard feelings. Honestly, I thank them because honestly, I would not be where I'm at if they hadn't let me go. I wouldn't be where I'm at. I would have still be in a worker mind frame. I would be working for somebody else. And my pastor said this. She said, well, remember when you first told me about your dream? You said you wanted to be your own boss. You wanted to open up your own med spa. And she was like, well, you can't do that working for somebody else. So maybe that's not your route. And I was like, well, of course I want to own my own med spa, but of course I I gotta learn the business first. I gotta do this first. I kept telling her, like, no, yeah, I did say that, but you gotta crawl before you walk. And sometimes you gotta step out on faith and really just bet on yourself.
Well, then sometimes you just got to get out the way.
You do. You gotta get out of your own way. And clearly, I was in my own way.
Yeah.
I was in my own way. And God was like, girl, I didn't tell you to do that. You doing what you want to do. I didn't tell you to do that. So now you're going to be in some pain because I never even told you to do that. I didn't tell you to go apply. I didn't tell you to go. They called you. I didn't tell you that. And he didn't tell me that. The vision in my head was me working for myself. And so I should have stayed with that vision.
That's powerful. That is so powerful, Latasha. Oh my God. Let's see. I got one more question to ask you. Were there any mentors or something like that helped you? Like, what do you need mentors when you're doing something like you're doing?
Absolutely. Honestly, you in any type of business, you need a coach. And when I say coach and mentor, you got to get in the right rooms. You can't expect to know everything, right? There's people that's going to know more than you, right? So you need to be with those people, right? So how I look at it, the people that inspire me, those are rooms I want to be in. If somebody already owns a med spa, I need to be connecting with that person. If somebody already owns a business, I need to know how you run your front office, how you hire, how you fire, how you do your interview process. We don't know those things, right?
Right.
So you gotta have a mentor in this kind of business. You have to, because they can see what you don't see.
Yes.
And they can guide you and help you avoid the mistakes that they may have made, right?
Yeah.
And some people now look to me as a mentor, as a coach, because I'm where they want to be. And then I have coaches and mentors because they're where I want to be. So I have a coach. Her name is Candace Holyfield. She's on her Instagram page is Six Figure Spa Chick. She is the only person in the world where I'm part of a membership called the Black Spa Tribe, and is the only professional membership for spa professionals of color. And so,
wow.
And we're a big group. We're all over the world. We got spa businesses and all over. So I align myself with people who are doing the things that I wanted to do. And I joined the membership before I even had a name. But I knew that was my destination. So you got to start. When I say, faith without work is just dead, it really truly is. You have to put yourself in the right rooms, even if you don't even know how you're going to get started, even if you don't know how you're going to pay for things or how you're going to do this. Put yourself in those rooms. I promise you're going to figure out a way.
That's powerful.
You're going to figure out a way. I never thought I'd be in this building. I started off as concierge. I wasn't ready to do no building. I can't afford to pay no rent nowhere. I got a mortgage. I got this. I got bills for my kids. I got tuition for my daughter. I can't afford to be in a building. But God always provides. He provides. And it
is so beautiful there. I mean, it was such a treat to see, because when I'm not far from where you are, but when I drove over to it, I was like, okay, boss lady, like you really doing this. You are doing this. And so extremely proud of you. Any last comments that you want to share with the audience?
I just want everybody to say, if you have a dream, if it's something you want to do, just bet on yourself. I promise you won't go wrong betting on yourself. And I say that, and don't look for people to give you that verification. You don't need nobody to verify. If you believe it and you truly want it, God will verify you, baby. Let me tell you, God verified me on levels I couldn't even pay nobody to verify me on. Okay. So God will verify you. You don't need approval for your family. You don't need approval for your friends. If you believe in it, go for it. I remember times when I would bring it, like I was at work and I was talking about, I was going to go back to school for my master's. And, people don't really see the longevity of what you do, right? They look at just the surface, and they were like, why would you go back to school and get in more debt? You already make good money as a nurse. You're gonna take a pay cut. And they were right. I took a pay cut becoming a nurse practitioner, but it wasn't never for the money for me. You got to think about people's purposes don't always be for money. Yes. I knew going back to school, I was going to acquire more student loans. I knew becoming a nurse practitioner, I was going to take a pay cut by going to be a nurse practitioner. But I never said I was going back to school for the money, though. And I think that's what they fail to realize. It wasn't for the money. It was for the elevation.
Yes.
I wanted to elevate my career. I wanted to do something different. I didn't want to be stuck or be complacent to one thing. In nursing, there's so many things you can do. Yes. You don't have to be stuck to just bedside. There's so many things you can do. So for me, it was another door of opportunity, and it didn't start with the motivation or the passion being money. Never.
That's right.
Never.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, Latasha, do you think that this was the moment that chose you, what you're doing now to serve your clients?
Absolutely. The moment that this is there, I am living in that moment, that and seeing that transformation and that manifestation in the flesh. It gives me chills, because no one could have told me I'll be where I'm at right now, doing the things that I'm doing. No one could have told me that. And I haven't even been in business a year, guys. It ain't even been a year. It hasn't been a year. So trust me, if I can do, I got 2 kids. My daughter's a gymnast. I have a husband. I show up for my friends and family. I still go to church. If I can do all these things, and I still work night shift 3 days a week. Okay. And I'm still running a business 3 days a week. So if I can do all of that, I promise you guys can do it. I promise you can do it. You just got to believe and have that faith. And bet
that
on
is
yourself.
awesome.
You will never go wrong betting on yourself.
That is awesome. I love that. We have to bet on ourselves. So let's talk about how people can get in touch with you. Is there any way people can get in touch with you for your services?
Yes. So you guys can go. I'm on all social media platforms. I'm on Facebook under At Your Best Wellness. IG is At Your Best Wellness. TikTok, YouTube, At Your Best Wellness. I'm actually going to be posting the grand opening. It's a little long with the speeches and everything on YouTube. So you guys can go to my YouTube, At Your Best Wellness, and subscribe. You can also email me at contact@yourbestwellness.com. You can also go to my website. My website is www.yourbestwellness.com. So really super simple to find. At Your Best Wellness, Google it, and it'll all come up.
Powerful. And why the name? Why did you pick At Your Best?
So I picked At Your Best because At Your Best literally can look different for everybody. We all like different things, right? Right. At Your Best for some people could be coming in getting an IV drip. At Your Best for some people could be coming in getting a facial. So whatever At Your Best looks like, I just want you guys at your best. And you tell me what that looks like for you. So when people come in, I always tell them, what can I do for you? How can I serve you? How can I get you feeling at your best? What does at your best looks like to you? So At Your Best is whatever you tell me it is, and we're going to get you there.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much, Latasha, for coming and blessing my spirit and their spirit. I know, but I'm really proud of you, and just look up to you. And I think that really a lot of people are going to be reaching out to you to be mentored, because you've done something that a lot of people are only dreaming about. And so we just thank you for trailblazing the way, being that change agent, giving back to your community, and then giving us those services that we really desire to have, but we don't really go get it. So it is just top shelf. So I know we're going to see you on some big old program soon.
Yes. Thank you, Lord.
Yes. Elevate her to get her where she needs to be, because there are so many people that really want those services. I know I have a daughter, and she loves that kind of stuff, but she has to struggle a little bit to try to find the right places to go. So this is beautiful.
Yep. Well, thank you for having me so much. I love you. Thank you for being a mentor to me as well. Thank you for always pouring life and speaking life into me, and just being that extra sisterhood that we all need.
Yes. Okay. Well, thank you for being on the episode. Okay. I hope you guys enjoyed it.
Hey, you guys reach out to me. I'm here if you have any questions at all.